The World Games is a renowned international event for sports not contested in the Olympic Games, and parkour was included in the competition for the first time. So yeah, the winners of the FIG Parkour Cup in Sofia are a big deal. Some countries remained victorious, and some just barely missed the mark. Keep watching as we look at who got what medal and much more. First up, let's look at the winners of the speed titles. Starting off with the men, 24-year-old Bodin Kolmakov was the fastest in the parkour speed competition. In a truly impressive performance, he finished the course in 21.26, beating out Mexican Javier Rodriguez, who managed a time of 22.02. Coming in third place, Andrea Consolini won the bronze with a time of 22.26 seconds. Barely missing out on positions, Martin Kromacek of the Czech Republic and Valentin Dubois of France finished 4th and 5th respectively. And that's not all. Sweden experienced some extra happiness as Ellis Torhall won the men's freestyle gold with a score of 24.50. Silver went to Evgeny Avroyan with a score of 23.50, and bronze went to Loakim Theodoridis of Greece with 22.00. Major kudos to all the men for a great performance. Now, coming to the ladies' performance. So in the women's speed division, Sweden's Miranda Tibbling absolutely shined, taking first place with an outstanding time of 13.280 seconds, thanks to Lilou Ruel and Stephania Zitis' respective times of 14.06 and 15.65. France and Austria also managed to bag silver and bronze. Fourth place finisher Noah Mann of the Netherlands finished in 15.74, and Hikari Izumi of Japan came in at 16.36 seconds to round out the top 5. And now, let's look at how the ladies performed in the freestyle event. Ruel won the event with an impressive score of 23.00, earning her second medal in the competition. Dutch woman Noah Mann, who finished 4th in the speed competition, made up for it by winning silver in the freestyle competition in 21.00 and with a final score of 20.50. Czech Republic native Adela Merkova completed the podium. And we have to mention, Ukraine currently holds 4th place in the game's medal ranking with 9 gold, 6 silver, and 9 bronze medals. Those are a lot of medals, and they're definitely well earned. Up next, Bodin Kolmakov hopes his efforts will inspire Ukrainians. So, the 24-year-old hopes that his efforts for the World Games will be able to achieve his dream of inspiring Ukrainians. In such tough and unstable times, parkour is the only activity that makes him happy. It's clear to see that Kolmakov has a unique talent that he wants to give away to as many of his fellow countrymen as he can. Kolmakov said, "I want them to feel free with me," after completing his preparation for his 2022 debut at the World Games in Birmingham, Alabama. Turns out, the Ukrainian's pretty single-minded when it comes to his training, as he can only see his path when he runs. Simply put, he's more focused than ever before. Let's look at how the conflict in Ukraine affected the athlete. So, we know he just won the men's speed gold medal at the FIG Parkour World Cup. But what was he doing when the Russian soldiers invaded his nation? True to his passion, he was actually competing in Kyiv at the time. My hometown of Alexandria is where I first tried to go, but I was unable to do so. I was forced to. I was frozen in place. There was no chance of success. There was no success to be had. He tells the story of how he tried to make his way to his hometown, but wasn't able to. So he had no choice but to stay the night in a public transportation hub. Everything seemed hopeless at that point, but he persevered. Up next, the Ukrainian defies all odds. When Kolmakov eventually made it home, he was at a loss as to what to do because the gym where he trained and taught was shut down. Now, to pursue his goals, he had to wait until he was given permission to leave Ukraine for a while. But here's the thing, this wasn't a lifeline in the basic sense. Kolmakov was short on cash and confused about what to do next, and the people who had his back were the parkour community. The Ukrainian also explained how he wrote to Daniel Samek on Instagram. The two hadn't spoken to each other, but that didn't matter to Samek. Not only did he ask the Ukrainian to visit his gym in Brno, but he also refused to accept money for all his help. About the Czech parkour competitor, Kolmakov said, "He really helped me." Safe to say, there's a lot of mutual respect between the two, and even in the community itself. Up next, more on Kolmakov's difficult journey. He lived with his fiancée in Bratislava and spent a large amount of time there over the course of many weeks. And during that time, he participated in the speed competition during the World Cup in May and finished 4th overall. He was then also able to take a flight to Montpellier in France. But here's the thing, he was dealing with some really difficult moments and terrible memories during the entire ordeal. When he was still living in Ukraine, he recalled hearing a plane's loud noise while using the internet, and then the haunting sound of a siren followed. Then, a bomb went off, not far from his home in Alexandria. It makes sense then that he still feels scared when he hears loud noises, and he often turns his head to stare at the sky. After repeatedly watching footage of damaged towns and buildings, he feels compelled to help out his people, and since he's not a soldier, he's aware that he can't really go the typical route here. Instead, concentrating on his strengths is probably the wisest course of action. Now, in some other news about gymnastics. Coming up, Connor McClain fulfills a promise. So McClain has received awards and plenty of praise since she was in elementary school. At the age of just 11, she appeared on TV with Steve Harvey and declared her dream to win the 2024 Olympic all-around competition. For years, it appeared that McClain was destined to become the best gymnast in the nation. The 17-year-old has now made good on her promise by defeating Shalise Jones to win the U.S. all-around title. This is after Jones failed on her final maneuver, an uneven bars dismount. It's a big moment as she wins her first senior nationals and becomes the 6th woman to do so since 2000. An interesting thing to mention is how all 5 of the other competitors, like Simone Biles, rose to the top of the gymnastics world. So destiny may have a lot in store for McClain. After all, it's so unreal. The upcoming star, who just came back this summer from a stress fracture in each shin, a concussion, and the flu. I'm still in shock a little bit. Up next, Jones ends up in disappointment. On the final day of a 2-day tournament, McClain was 8/10ths behind Jones. Jones stumbled on her first balance beam and lagged McClain, who had been consistent, by 5/10ths going into the last rotation. But here's the thing, Jones would easily join Biles as the only non-teens to win the US all-around title in the previous 50 years, if she duplicated her bar score from the opening night, which was the best in the competition by 6/10ths. She seemed to be headed in the right direction, but it's a tricky sport. She ended up losing her balance, and the small stumble caused her to lose 1 point. Soon after, the 17-year-old McClain heard a whisper in her ear from Anna Lukin, who trains the young Las Vegas native along with her husband Valerie. Of course, she's also the mother of 2008 Olympic all-around winner Nastia Lukin. The best whispers are good news, and this wasn't any different. McClain had done it, and she'd actually won. A major win like this must be hard to process, since Lukin explained that McClain was a little surprised, but she smiled. Now finally, a look at the other winners. All the athletes gave it their all, as Jade Carey came in 5th, followed by Jordan Childs in 3rd. As a matter of fact, the Tokyo medalist made history by becoming the first American female gymnast to compete at the highest level again after an NCAA season. Just like McClain and Jones, Childs and Carey are looking ahead towards the 2024 Paris Games. The Tokyo all-around gold champion Suni Lee also means to compete at the highest level again the following year, and possibly Biles, who hasn't participated in any competition since Tokyo, but hasn't ruled out making another Olympic run. So, this fall's global championships come first, and the team will be announced following a selection camp in October. Given the absence of Olympic champion Russia, whose athletes are prohibited due to the conflict in Ukraine, they will definitely be the favorites to win gold. That's a wrap for this video. Did you watch the FIG Parkour Cup in Sofia? And if so, which was your favorite run? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one, and thanks for watching.